Yes, I'm Captain Warnell Phillips with the Broward Sheriff's Office. I'm the district commander for Lauderdale Lakes District, in which I'm typically your chief of police here in the city of Lauderdale Lakes. Yes, the community policing unit was actually implemented as a partnership between the CRA, the Broward Sheriff's Office, and the city of Lauderdale Lakes. And its main focus was to bring attention to and to unify the activity that was going on within the business district to help make sure that we bridge the gap between business owners, law enforcement, and the community. So that is definitely one of the main goals, is to actually increase that presence, and that's exactly what the program has been doing. We have taken those officers that are assigned, and they're specifically patrolling that actual business district, and their only task is to respond to all calls for service within that business district. So right now you have 2 law enforcement officers dedicated to strictly the Lauderdale Lakes business district, and their primary goal is to handle all calls for service, conduct investigations, and anything necessary for those business owners to feel safe, productive, and a part of the overall plan for public safety and partnership within the city of Lauderdale Lakes. So just by strategically placing these resources in the business district, it's drastically helped us deal with the staffing issues that we once had related to that area. And it also allows us to better distribute our resources in other areas throughout the city. So those patrol personnel who would typically be pulled away from tasks doing other things within the city, residential areas and places like that, they're now isolated and strategically placed in that business district, and they really just take care of all calls associated with that. So we all know when we're building trust, it's all about relationships. And those deputies who are in the CRA, they've been able to get out and build those one-on-one relationships with business owners, and the business owners actually feel as if they have a deputy that they can call and a deputy that they can communicate with and talk to on a regular basis, even for issues that are non-law enforcement related. If they're just, frequently asked questions about law enforcement in general, or just, issues involving, pop culture, whatever the case may be, they're able to build that dialogue, and they feel as if that's not just a police officer, but that's probably one of their work buddies or friends and somebody that they can talk to. So that's how we're using that to build that trust and bridge those gaps. So yes, I've actually gotten a couple emails where I have been thanked for having that unit strategically deployed in the business district, and it does a couple of things for us. It makes sure that we can take a deputy who's familiar with that business and probably know what's going on with certain calls for service that business is experiencing, but it also allows that business owner to trust that whoever that deputy is that's coming out is actually somebody that's going to take their situation seriously. They actually have a relationship with them, and that deputy can educate as well as make sure that they conduct a thorough investigation for that business owner. And so far, it's been going amazing. We got nothing but positive feedback from the business community for the community-oriented policing unit. So again, like I just said, just the feedback from the community, that is our litmus to let us know what we're doing is working, and just the positive feedback alone has actually been overwhelming. And we also had we brought a couple of the members on our team and introduced them to the DICE a couple months ago when it was first implemented, and just all the feedback has been positive. And those relationships has actually allowed us to bring down some of the calls for service in areas that were actually problematic, because the officers are able to respond in a very short time frame, and they actually are there within a few minutes of being called, as opposed to being put in our call log and just waiting for the first deputy to become available. I have several stories. We have some investigations going on, that I would rather maintain the integrity of that investigation. But however, I assure you that the program has had tremendous positive feedback, and our deputies who are out there working, they are of the community. They know the community very well, and they definitely made sure that they have implemented the strategies that have been taught in community-oriented policing and utilizing that to help serve the business district. Just like we've always been saying, if you see something, say something. Let us know what's going on. If you see something, you're of the community. The community belongs to you, so you know what's out of place more than anyone. So if you see something that's not right, it doesn't look right, it just doesn't pass the sniff test, give us a call. Let us know what's going on. Our officers will be there in a matter of seconds, if not minutes, and just make sure they conduct a thorough investigation and making sure that we keep the community safe. When we first started this program, we wanted to make sure we had the right personalities in place to kind of come out as ambassadors to help the business owners drop that veil of mistrust. And I think with those personalities we've actually assigned to the unit, they have been great in building that trust and actually getting through that tough exterior that most of the public has when it relates to law enforcement. So that was one of the biggest challenges. And I think based on the success we've been having, that was one of the biggest challenges, and I think we made the right choices with the people that we selected to be in this unit, because we've been getting nothing but positive feedback thus far. So we actually have a strategic plan associated with the community-oriented policing unit, and as we continue to evolve with the program, we want to make sure that we give business owners some ideas, especially involving crime prevention through environmental designs, where our deputies can get out and educate them on ways to make themselves a harder victim. When people are thinking about making them a soft target, they become a much harder target to target, and just to make sure that they are able to serve that particular business a lot better. So we're not just trying to come out and react to crime, we're trying to get them the tools to make sure that they are not easy victims. It was my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.